Hello, I'm Scott, the breathing guy. I'll train you to locate, generate, activate core key energy in physical activities. This video series, Driver Swing Mechanics with Key Energy. This is lesson 1, swing mechanics, stage 1, address, take the club back, and this is part 2 of upper body development. And part 2 is the right side of becoming soft. We firmed up the left side. Now, how do you make the right side soft and down? Because if you don't, you limit your separation, you limit your force. It's not good in the sense of transferring all your rotational force to your hands. That's the goal of the whole idea of turning the body, to bring it all to the hands. So, first thing you want to do is always start with pelvis here, soften the shoulders, use your breath, inhale, and then blow out your mouth, go like a cigarette smoker. Soften your shoulders. Let your chest, square your shoulders back a little bit. Some people are already so far forward, but that's an exercise. Open up your chest. I'll have a whole exercises on that, to how to open up your chest to make square shoulders. But soften the shoulders. So, as you're going like this, rotating down, soften. Start your swing by having the whole body soft, then you can build from the ground up. What the upper body, lower body does is one thing. The upper body is about rotation of shoulders, separation of the hips and shoulders, where your hips stay here and you can turn your shoulders more, and how to do that to get the rotational force going into your hands. That's the simple part. So the first thing I want you to do is, when you start like this, when you get your grip, bring the club up like this. Remember, you want to let the club head go down. The club head leads the hands. Square your shoulders, head up. Not forward, head up. So let your shoulder blades come back and then come down. When you come down here, most people here, make sure this part is pointing straight forward. Same with this area here. This is always pointed straight out this way. More, because you don't want your elbow turned in. You want your elbow down. So when you come down, it's like that for both right hand and left hand. So when you kind of this, rotate your shoulder down for the left. Now, as soon as you get the hard, now soften the left side. Come down, and when you hit hard part, make this firm first. Now, as you finish that, let the right shoulder drop. Let it come soft. Keep it back. And then when you lean forward, like that, then soften the shoulder more. Soften the elbow. You want no tension on that right side at all. The only finger you need to take the club back is this one. That's it. You only take it back with the middle finger, and you use the middle finger tip on this one. When I get into the hands and how to take the club back and the goal, that will really illustrate why. But the number one rule now, shoulder back. Again, I'll repeat this from the other one. You don't want your head forward because your shoulders go. But as soon as you stand up straight, pelvis is slightly tip, hips are no lower back. You're like this, head back. Look, your shoulders are stabilized. Stabilized as one unit. Locking up here and create soft. And by having the right shoulder soft, you're creating the hard and soft contrast, the yin and yang. And when you get here, soften that shoulder. Soften your wiggle. Make that elbow soft. And then pull back. Pull back. That's the key for the right shoulder. That's what you want. Firm here, lock it up, it's work out. Soften this side. Soften the shoulder, soften the elbow. Why? Because when you have a soft shoulder, it's down and square, your elbow will be perfectly vertical, up and down. That's what you want. You don't want to go out like this, and you don't want to go like this. You want to pull it back where it's like this. That will create the With the hands, you want to aim the butt at the ball. That's the key element. So when you take it back and you're coming down, the butt is at the ball. We'll get into that with the swing itself. So this is about the right side being soft, and the advantage of that soft, you can test this. If you do this and you tighten that right shoulder, when you go back, you can't separate the hip and the shoulder. But if you make that right side really soft, left side really firm, you can separate your shoulders without moving your hips naturally. And you can really develop that in contrast too. That's a key element of why you want the right shoulder soft. It permits the right shoulder to go back without turning the hips. But if it's tight, it links to the hips, and you have to go back at the same time, and then when you get up here, then you can move. You don't want to do that. It limits the range of separation. You don't maximize the fluidity of the swing, the effortlessness of the swing, the experience itself. This is all about internal forces directing external actions. The swing mechanics itself and the core breathing is all involved to make this. But this is only lesson 1. And there's other lessons. 2 is about the 4 components, and lesson 3 is about the exercises needed to create the most dynamic driver swing possible physically. This is a physical act. And your attitude generator is in the 4 parts. Creating the attitude to do this is another part to enhance your range of movement within the swing itself. So this is Scott, the breathing guy. This is stage 1, how to take the gut. This is upper body development. Part 2, lower. We're going to have part 3 is the hands. So just look for part 3.